The Disturbing History of Coca-Cola. Do you know there are dark secrets behind the rise of Coca-Cola? Is it really involved in funding wars, covering up health risks, draining entire communities of water, and crushing labor unions? In this video, let's find out. Back in the 1880s, people distrusted doctors. People turned to home remedies and patent medicines, convinced that traditional medicine was nothing but a scam. Sensing an opportunity, entrepreneurs flooded the market with miracle medicines, most of them nothing more than snake oil. One of the most popular at the time was Vin Mariani, a French tonic made of wine mixed with cocaine. It claimed to cure fatigue, depression, and even tuberculosis. Among its most enthusiastic fans was John Pemberton, a Civil War veteran who had been severely wounded in battle. Doctors had prescribed morphine for his pain, and like many soldiers of the time, he became hopelessly addicted. Desperate for an alternative, Pemberton became obsessed with Vin Mariani, believing it was his miracle cure. But he didn't just drink it. He saw a business opportunity. In 1884, he created his own version, calling it French wine Coca. But just a year later, disaster struck. Prohibition laws began spreading across the U.S., banning alcohol in many states. Pemberton was forced to remove the wine from his drink, replacing it with carbonated water. The result was a bitter, distasteful mess. To fix the taste, he loaded it with sugar, hoping that would mask the bitterness. Now he needed a new name. His bookkeeper, Frank Robinson, suggested Coca-Cola, a reference to the drink's two key ingredients, coca leaves, which contain cocaine, and cola nuts, which contain caffeine. To this day, Coca-Cola denies that its drink ever contained cocaine, but history tells a different story. The early formula absolutely contained the coca leaf, and Coca-Cola didn't fully remove all traces of cocaine until 1929. Long after society had begun realizing that maybe cocaine wasn't the miracle cure they once thought. But Pemberton wouldn't live to see Coca-Cola's rise. His morphine addiction worsened, his health spiraled, and in 1888, he died broke, completely unaware that his creation would soon become one of the most powerful brands in history. Before his death, Pemberton sold Coca-Cola for a mere $2,300 to a businessman named Asa Candler. But Candler didn't just buy the company, he stole it. Determined to own Coca-Cola outright, he bought up all the remaining shares. But years later, investigators discovered something sinister. Many of those transactions contained forged signatures. To cover his tracks, Candler ordered all early Coca-Cola records to be burned, erasing any evidence of fraud. Now in full control, Candler had a problem. Coca-Cola wasn't popular yet, so he launched one of the most aggressive marketing campaigns in history. He plastered the Coca-Cola logo everywhere, on billboards, buildings, and even barns. He even painted the company's logo on horses, making sure people saw the brand everywhere they went. But his most brilliant move was free samples. He handed out coupons that allowed people to try Coca-Cola for free. Once they did, they kept coming back for more, especially since the drink still contained addictive ingredients like caffeine and traces of cocaine. But Candler had another realization that marketing Coca-Cola as medicine wasn't working. Instead of branding it as a cure, he rebranded it as a refreshing, enjoyable drink. By the early 1900s, Coca-Cola wasn't just another patent medicine, but a lifestyle. Yet Candler had to expand Coca-Cola, so he used the war. World War II was a time of rationing and sacrifice. Sugar was limited, companies suffered, and everyday people had to cut back on luxuries. But not Coca-Cola. Rather than slowing production, Coca-Cola lobbied the U.S. government, arguing that it was an essential wartime product that boosted soldier morale. Incredibly, the government agreed. While other companies were forced to cut back on sugar, Coca-Cola kept operating at full capacity. But their real stroke of genius came when Coca-Cola's president promised that every U.S. soldier would get a Coke for just 5 cents, wherever they were in the world. This wasn't charity, it was a strategic move. The U.S. government actually helped fund Coca-Cola's expansion, setting up 64 bottling plants around the world to supply troops. And when soldiers shared Coke with locals, the brand spread like wildfire. By the time the war ended, Coca-Cola had successfully infiltrated nearly every major country on Earth. But here's the dark twist. While Coca-Cola was selling itself as an American patriotic symbol, it was also quietly doing business with Nazi Germany. When the war cut off Coca-Cola's supply lines to Germany, the head of Coca-Cola's German division created a new drink using whatever ingredients were available. This created Fanta, literally invented for Nazi Germany. And when the war ended, all its profits flowed straight back to Coca-Cola's headquarters. Today, Coca-Cola's deception continues. In India and Mexico, Coca-Cola has been accused of draining local water supplies, leaving entire communities in severe droughts while their factories continued production. In Colombia and Guatemala, Coca-Cola bottling plants have been linked to violence, including the murders of union leaders who fought for better wages and working conditions. And let's not forget the health crisis Coca-Cola has fueled. For years, Coca-Cola has spent millions funding research to downplay the link between sugary drinks and obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. And despite overwhelming evidence of the dangers of sugary drinks, Coca-Cola has continued aggressively marketing to children, ensuring that the next generation gets hooked as early as possible. Here's a quick question. Isn't it true that despite the severe health problems, we still consume Coca-Cola due to its irresistible